the King J, back with another video. And today we have, I would like to say, this guy knows so much about Leroy. Like, you know, side-specific combos, character-specific combos, loads of different tech. So it was only right we got him on. He goes by the name of Dustiel. Dustiel, welcome, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Get to talk more Leroy. It's what I do.
Nice. So today we're going to talk about, like, you know, the character, like what are the key moves, character punishments, you know, heat engages, heat, and some of the frame traps. So first things first, I want to ask you about the character. Like, what do you think about Leroy in Tekken 8 so far?
I mean, obviously at the start it was a not fun time being a Leroy main, but since then, I mean, he's kind of evolved into this strange, unique character. I want to say he's the most volatile character in this game. I don't think anyone can blow you up like Leroy can. Like, a counter hit back 1+2 at the wall leads to that insanely high damage wall splat, because you can, you know, do that from it. And you have the cane, the low and the mid, which apparently having trouble with that. But like, these are insanely good high damage comeback potential stuff. But on the other hand, he's also very susceptible to things like just sidewalking in either direction. He has trouble with tracking and whatnot. So volatile is the word I would use. Because the rounds for him usually go 10 seconds and he wins, or he just doesn't.
Would you put him like on the high end of the tier list? Would you put him at top 10? Like, I know everyone loves the tier list.
Yeah, that's really difficult to say with someone like this, but obviously we've seen him being picked by top level players in high level tournaments and up in top 8s and whatnot. So like, clearly somebody out there thinks that Leroy's got something going on. I said when he got these buffs for this version of him, I said he would be around top 15, maybe breaking into the top 10. And that hasn't really changed. I think he's just in the top 15 along with so many other characters.
Nice. All right, cool. So let's talk about like his frame data. So like, you know, let's talk about his frames. Standing punishment 10 to 15, and then his while standing 10 to 15.
So Leroy's got really good punishment coverage because he's got nice 10 frame, does a good bit of damage, and does technically give a mix-up. It's kind of a technical mix-up because 11 frame semi-homing mid here. But then his actual 50-50, as you can see there, like, that's what happens. You get this sidestepped all the time. So you can't enforce a 50-50 from it. But you have this for just stop moving, stop doing anything, which is a strange one. 12 frame, we got 2-2. This is more of a standard kind of punisher. This doesn't put him into a stance or anything. It's just standing frames and a lot of them. +7 and good damage. Kind of stubby range, but whatever. But that gets covered by 4-4, which has insane range for a 12 frame, but then this isn't that plus, it's only +3. 13 frame mid, you got standard down forward 1 string, nothing really great here. It's low damage, but it's a mid. 14 frame punish is one of his heat engagers. It's a high, but it is a high damage. It is a hit confirmable move, so it's not even a punisher necessarily. You can just poke with it, but it is his 14 frame punish. The other 14 frame punish for range is up for 3+4, 1+2, and his standard launcher down for 2, 1+2. Very unsafe, but also, as we're gonna find out, Leroy damage is a whole thing. That is well above average. And also, you know, worth mentioning, long range 15 frame launcher, forward 2-2 for any pushback. Why not? While standing punishment, standard while standing 4, nothing going on here. While standing 1-4, it's basically a 13 frame while standing mid version of the 1-2-4. Same frames, same kind of situation. Strong punish for damage, but the situation is what it is. 14 frame shared up for 3+4, because up forward input, you get it out of crouch. 15 frame launcher. Again, the damage gets to be damage, if damage ever happens. Same stuff here.
Okay, cool. So his punishment seems to be really good. Like, what do you think about like his like moves and stuff like that? What are the key moves that you would use with this character?
His key moves are a little weird because the number one key move, a lot of people can see this coming, it is down back 3, in my opinion, still. This low is, I think at this point, just undisputed the best low in the game.
Yeah.
This has crazy range, some tracking to both directions, but it is not homing. It has +5 on hit, meaning you do get a proper Hermit mix-up here. If they press, they will just eat this. And you got your low as well with 3-4. Like, this is good. If you get into the Hermit and you know what you're doing in Hermit, this will be very hard to deal with. And that's not even all, because for some ungodly reason it has a counter hit property, which you can also go into a heat engager off of if you happen to need heat. This is a crazy move, and honestly what his game kind of revolves around. The mid counterpart kind of has to be this. This is his mid heat engage, down 1+2. It's not the bestest move in the world, but you have to make do with Leroy because his mids aren't the best. This game, unlike Tekken 7, where Leroy was the master of everything, this game put him more in a position like Kazuya and Devil Jin, where -6 down forward 1. You are not allowed to have a poking game. So down forward 1 is not going to be on this list other than as a footnote, really, because, I mean, it's there. Down forward 1, 1+2 is a decent move, and down forward 1, 1+2, 2 is a decent counter hit string. Down forward 1, 4 exists. Like, it's not very good. Down forward 4, on the other hand, again, we've got a strong Hermit entry here, and it is followed up by a safe mid. This is a 13 frame mid string that is safe. Second hit has a counter hit property, which is particularly strong. If I, whatever, if you can dash that in. Or not, I can't. I'm gonna blame the delay on this one. Very strong for a safe move. Other key moves for poking, standing 3, -8 on block. Not very good, but it has a sneaky follow-up low. The reason why this is so important is because, well, this tracks fully to sidestep right. You cannot step this I don't care who you are unless your name is Steve, but Steve cheats, we know this. This is the one side he can cover consistently.
Okay.
It is a strong side due to that. He's gonna have tracking issues, and we're gonna get to that as well. I guess if we want mix-up lows that aren't this, I do have to mention down 3-2. Down 3-2 existing is a thing. It gives you +8 in Hermit, which means usually the opponent is just left standing there guessing. You don't get to sidestep the Hermit mix-up at all from this. There is no ambiguity. It is just a 50-50, more or less.
Okay, cool. Is there any...
and also jabs. They exist. He has a good one jab. His 2-1 string is broken, just straight up. The third hit is a parry that parries anything and everything. There is a delay on the third hit and the fourth hit, and the fourth hit is a counter hit launcher. If the third hit hits on counter hit, the entire thing is gonna be guaranteed. There's a lot to fish for with this. It is a strong ass move, whereas this one jab is a one jab. One thing to note is it is a 12 frame jab string, so be careful.
Okay. What about his like G cliff? Do you use that a lot? Like the 1-1, 1+2?
I mean, I was thinking, yeah, counter hit moves also exist, sure. Could go through those as well. 1-1, 1+2, 1 is his 10 frame jab counter hit. It is strong, as it's always been. There has not been a weak version of this move yet, but I feel, I don't know, it is steppable both ways, which is, I don't know, I want to say that's standard, but every time I step Lars and eat his G-Clef, I'm just left wondering why. So, it is good, but others have it better, I guess. That's not really a problem. The problem is, if I'm gonna go for counter hit reads, it's mostly this in neutral. In frame traps, I might use G-Clef. 4-3, 1+2, 4 is by far his most important counter hit tool now. The most recent patch made this second hit safe with pushback. It used to be -12. And This is, in my opinion, the best 14 frame mid counter hit in the game because it is 51 damage unrecoverable. And this is a fully hit confirmable thing.
Oh, it's unrecoverable.
Yeah,
I've never looked at it. I've never looked at it like that. Yeah, I've never ever looked at it like that. Oh, damn.
I think that's really important to note because a normal counter hit launcher will do, I don't know, like 70 damage and it'll have like 30 recoverable.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a crazy good move. You just have to be careful with it a little bit because, as per usual, it is linear, but 51 damage, 14 frame mid counter hit. That is crazy good. There's also back one. Back one is sort of a more keep out type move. It's 13 frames with no fucking range, which sometimes is a problem. But since it whips so fast, it's not like you die for it often. It's just if you get stepped, you're probably gonna die. But otherwise, as a keep out type move, this is one of the better things he has because he doesn't really have other things for it.
How do you set up forward 3-1+2 for like? Do you?
I personally just don't. I just go for it in neutral as like a timing read. I used to do back 1+2. Back 1+2 is such a specialist move nowadays because it used to be a full damage counter hit launch in 7. In this game, since it's a scaled launch, it does not do that much damage, all things considered. Most of the damage comes from the wall carry, because at the end there is a very damaging wall combo. But, I mean, in 7, it used to be viable to dash in a 1+2, or back 1+2 rather. In this game, it's less viable. They made the hitboxes a little bit more accurate, so it doesn't hit the tip of everyone's fingers anymore as it did in 7, so it's lost its phantom range. But it is still a 12 frame mid counter hit launcher, and it is the fastest mid counter hit launcher in the game.
And then you said the thing about the wall. Let's go to the wall, because I don't know how you would apply it against the wall, but if you done it like
I don't know, just something really standard. Just wait this out and then just do this. Like, that is a lot of damage from a 12 frame mid counter hit, especially at the wall where this has the main issue of getting stepped and getting backdashed. You're not backdashing this, and this tracks his strong and weak side a little bit. Like, depending on character, it might track sidestep right, but most characters it tracks sidestep left against, which that is his weak side. So at the wall, it is valuable despite being -10. And like, you reach them once with this, they might just straight up die from it. It is very strong.
Interesting. All right, cool. So let's talk about, like, I want to get into heat and I want to get into like what stuff. Before we get into heat, we got to talk about Hermit. So what do you think about his Hermit stance?
Hermit in this game is pretty much the same as it was in 7, with one very, very huge distinction. Hermit 1+2 changed everything about this stance. 1+2 used to be a 15 frame mid wall bounce that was -10. It was an okay move, and you were forced to use it every now and then. This is the first time he's had a safe mid in stance. You could say back 1 and forward 4 are safe mids, but I mean, those are steppable. I mean, an actual safe mid check. Like, out of situations like this is just safe to throw out. That used to not be the case, so the dynamic of the stance has changed, like, substantially. Other than that, it's a mix-up stance. You have Hermit 3-4, that's your low, Hermit 1+2-1 as your mid. This is a hit confirmable 14 frame, -2 on block with pushback mid. I call this quite often probably the most broken mid in the game, but it is stuck in stance for a reason after all. The other mix-up, as I refer to it, is Hermit back 4 and Hermit back 1, because these are similar speeds, which is important at high level so you don't get fuzzied. Hermit back 1 is a plus on block mid counter hit launcher, which is just nice to throw out there. It's chip damage, it's plus frames. Hermit back 4 is a homing counter hit launcher low. Good damage and homing, and obviously the counter hit launches on both, very valuable. There are outlier moves in the stance. There's Hermit forward 1, which is a highly tracking +0 on block high. This used to be a counter hit launcher way back in the day, but no longer does that, so it's a little bit less useful. But it is a tracking move out of the stance that puts you out of the stance, and it is +0 on block. Then the other outlier move is the Hell Sweep, which they had to do something with this move after Tekken 7. I guess the stance is something. I basically consider this useless unless there's a balcony break in play. I don't I barely use this, and definitely not in like proper competitive play. I would just not throw this out for no reason.
Yeah, I don't feel like being in Leroy main as well. I feel like that move, like throwing out a high play, you're just gonna be upset when they block it and launch you. Like, because this game
Yeah.
does so much damage, so it would have to be like a mind game where you wanna like use the balcony break and then do combo. Other than that, yeah, it's just very risky throughout in the open play.
Yeah. You can also sidestep out of Hermit, and out of that there's a canned move 1+2, which is it's similar to his sidestep 1+2. This has like triple the range of it though. Like I can do it from way over here, unlike this version, which is a little stubbier. But same move, same frames, same damage.
So wait, the Hermit one travels more than the sidestep one. Oh yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
Whoa. I never know.
And
I never noticed that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I just throw this out as an approach for fun. It's not solid play. The problem with this is that since you're forced to do the sidestep, which is 13 frames of sidestepping before you can do this. You can delay it as well, but since it's 13 plus 14, you're looking at a nice 27 frame move. So there are a lot of problems with doing this out of Hermit, which is probably why they put it in sidestep, so you can actually use this move. There's also the Hermit low parry, my favorite thing. Hermit low parry doesn't work on every low in the game anymore, but it sure does damage still. It's still worth using, in my opinion. It does scaled damage, unlike Tekken 7, but I don't know, man. It's still good, in my opinion, at least.
What about the punch, Sabaki? Do you use that a lot?
Hermit 1, I mean, hard to read stuff. This isn't good anymore, in my opinion. It's just straight up a bad move, because this used to be -6, now it's -10, right? Yeah. So, obviously there's problems with that alone. The thing here is it's 34 damage. Sure, plus 28, which means you can technically do our guaranteed running 3 for chip damage. But if I just do a standard parry, I get more damage anyway.
Yeah.
35 and pretty much the same thing. Like if I do a fast enough running 3, it's still guaranteed and it's still the same chip damage. And this can wall splat, whereas Hermit 1, this doesn't wall splat. So I personally just don't think this is useful. Also an important thing, this has a wider parry window, so might as well use this every time.
Nice. All right, cool. So like, let's talk about Leroy in Heat, because that has been something that people complain about sometimes, that he does a lot of chip damage. Like, what do you think about Leroy in Heat?
Just Doc, I don't know. If he's not in Hermit, you have a lot of reasons to just do this. But sure, if you decide to stand still, I mean, the bar sure depletes fast, but why are you standing still? Like, that's the question, isn't it? His Heat is a bit of a weird one because of this. The only place where it doesn't apply as an argument is Hermit 1+2, which is also a chip move, and funnily enough, a Heat engager. And since it's a Heat engager, it has a Heat dash, and it is a full launch, which is crazy. But before we get to that, let's at least talk about probably the most important Heat engager. This is the one that's gonna get used the most. Down 1+2, since it's his main mid that you're gonna actually do anything with. I mean, it's a Heat engager. There's nothing special about it. It's just a mid Heat engager. You can Heat dash it for a launch, but in my opinion, if you don't have a good read on that, it might not be the best idea. And also, if you can kill the opponent off the following situation, that's also good. The secondary important one is Hermit 1+2 then. This is stance locked, so it's a little bit more of a, you know, thing, but this is by far his strongest Heat engager. You can't use it all willy-nilly, unlike the other one, but it is way stronger. And of course, as I mentioned, in Heat does chip damage, really good for a mid. Other chip damage moves are just anything with chain punches, you know.
Whoa.
Then there's down back 1+2, the third most useful in my opinion. This thing is a super Sabaki. This thing is broken. If you know how to use this thing is just awful for the opponent to deal with. The parry window is the widest in the game outside of, like, ridiculous stuff like Zafina's armor reversal, which is like 50 frames or something stupid. I don't even know. This thing is frame 4 to 20, which is crazy. This parries, punches, and kicks, which is extraordinary for a Sabaki. It is only -11, so you're not gonna get thrown as a punish, which by the way, that is a thing you can do against Sabakis. Fun fact, you can punish them with throws. So only special throws can punish this if they're 11 frames or 10 frames. That matters a lot. And of course, in Heat, for some reason, this is a full launcher. Completely unnecessary, but I'll take it. This is good stuff. And the best part is, since it's such a slow move, you have more than enough time to see if the opponent presses into it. So you can technically confirm whether you're getting that Heat dash launch. So you're never wasting this for no reason. Then there's two outliers. 1+2, since it's a Punisher, honestly, most of the time, this Heat dash won't be seen, but it is a very high damage for a 14 frame, sure. It's just a waste most of the time. And then there's the useless one. Forward 4-4, this is a combo tool as far as I'm concerned, until they fix its hitbox. I've had this hit whiff so many times that I'm just not even gonna rate this as a move that exists. But sure, it is a long range, 16 frame mid-high Punisher. Problem with this is just I can't rely on it, so I won't even try. I don't care how much of a launch it gives. Personally, I don't like this, but I'm sure some people will. For something like Paul's Death Fist, you kind of have to use this as the punish if you're not going for FF22.
Nice. Okay, cool. So let's talk about, like, you know, 2 or 3 frame traps that you use. Like, is there like stuff that you use? Because you know that with Leroy, he doesn't have a lot of like plus frames like most of the other characters. So is there like any mind games or plus frame stuff that you do that you can share?
I mean, besides the obvious of down back 3 into literally anything, I don't really play in a setup kind of sense because of exactly that. Leroy doesn't get to do setups. He has one kind of important thing that I think I'm the only person kind of doing, aside from a couple others in the Leroy Discord, which is Sidestep 1+2 has this issue where most characters can sidewalk right all of his wall splatting moves, including the 14 frame 1+2, 1+2, 1, which to me is unacceptable. So the solution I've found is you kind of have to up for 3+ for these people. Because sidewalk right just covers everything. Down back 1, forward 4, up forward 3, 1+2, everything that would wall splat except for up forward 3+4. Which is a very strange frame trap to use, because usually you see this as the whole string. But this does wall splat on the second hit.
So you and then you'd okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that solid, but I call it necessary against quite a lot of high-level players, because they'll just sidewalk right. There's no downside. What am I gonna do about it? Fucking just press this.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, it's a decent move. This is a 22 frame high +9 on block homing move. People made a fuss about this when it got buffed, and I understand it, but also, Doc, I don't know. I've not found a problem with this move myself, but maybe that's just, I don't know, could be a me issue, but it does guarantee a Hermit mix-up on block. The problem is it is horrendous on whiff, and oh boy, does it whiff. If you just do this, it's quite easy to get it whiff. It's not great. Easy punish.
interesting.
Oh yeah, good mention. He does have homing moves. His tracking issues can be covered with these. Back 4 has some range, 17 frames -9. Problem is, on hit, it kind of doesn't do anything. This has pushback on hit, and it's only 16 damage. This leaves Leroy at a really bad position. I often just backdash out of this. It's not worth trying to press those frames. So, to return back to that question of, do you use setups and frame traps? +4 to me is useless. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think +4 is useless. I think most of the good stuff, they either knock down or they counter hit into things. So like back 3,
Yeah.
up forward 2, you know, that's +1 on block. It's not really great.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have anything. Even like down back 4 on hit is like -4 for me. So
Yeah, this is such a weird move nowadays. I don't understand it.
yeah, I wouldn't. There's no point using this when you can use this.
Yeah, they do the same amount of damage on counter hit, except when this happens to launch every once in a blue moon. For some reason, it just does that sometimes.
Yeah.
There's no logic that's really been found for it other than just, I don't know, sometimes it launches on counter hit.
So like I feel like if you're like a little bit off axis, or like if you're like here,
yeah, off axis. If you're in practice mode, you just go off axis to the left a little bit and you just do it. It's kind of bound to work. Leroy has a small hitbox, so that's probably not gonna help.
Yeah, there we go.
But like, it's a back turn combo. You don't get much here. 52 damage. That's 12 more than the standard thing, which is just whatever. But like, you're not gonna get a wall combo, right?
Yeah, I think this move, just because it's like 17 frames, it's 3 frames faster than down back for free. I just think sometimes it's okay to throw it out, but then I would use down 4.
It is. Yeah, exactly. I use down 2. Down 2
is a really good move as well.
Now we're talking lows. Down 2 is a weird one when you think about it. This is a generic down 4. Think about it. It's minus 13 on block and minus 2 on hit, and it's not 12 frames, but it is 15 frames. Yeah. This used to be launch punishable way back in the day, but they made it minus 13 for this game. So you actually have a decently safe low poke that high crushes, which is, you know, pretty good in tandem with the fact that Leroy is a chip damage specialist. So you just do like a bunch of chip and then just end them, you know? Very good.
Yeah, not for sure. All right, cool. So last thing I wanted to ask is, what do you think about like this character, the character's future? Like, do you feel like Leroy is going to get nerfed in the future? Because you know that they're not really trying to patch anyone unless it's like unintended behavior. But like, do you feel like, you know, in the future they're going to look at this character and be like, hey, not many people are playing him, we need to buff him? Or do you feel like, you know, all the chip damage is going to get nerfed? Like, what's your thoughts about this character's future?
It's really hard to say, especially knowing that this season we're probably going to go with literally no changes to Leroy outside of bug stuff. Like, season 2 is so far off, it's hard to even think. But if anything, I think that they're going to try to give him minor buffs. I don't know how. My proposed buffs would be just add a little bit of damage to down 1+2 so that it's actually a threatening mid. 21 damage isn't really that risky to eat, considering Leroy holds this distinction of like having no particularly safe way to launch the opponent. A lot of characters have a minus 13 launcher of some kind, even minus 14. Leroy has one, and it's while standing 2. Everything else is FF22 minus 15 on block, and down 4-2 1+2 minus 18 on block.
Yep.
This affects him heavily in tournament play, that you can't just decide to launch the opponent. You have to earn that properly. So he doesn't get to do that. Why not give him power mids, proper power mids, things that do a lot of damage properly? This could do 25 damage. This could knock down into a guaranteed hit. Things like that. You don't need to go crazy and be like, oh, this needs to be minus 11. Like, no, he doesn't really need to be able to launch the opponent as long as he can do damage with the mids.
Yeah. That's interesting. All right, cool. Now, Dustiel, thank you very much for obviously doing the Teach Me episode. Like, it's good to get another Leroy main on. For people that wanted to find you, like, I know you stream, like, do you have like Twitter and stuff like that? Let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I do stream under my actual Dustiel name. Sadly, on Twitter, somebody stole that a year ago, so it's a Dusty Eel, as in the fish, and as in the thing that gathers on your tables when you don't clean. And that's the same as my YouTube handle, because I actually forget why I made it that way. But hey, that's the handle.
So is it Dustyeel?
Yes.
Okay, nice. All right, wicked, man. Well, thank you very much for the Teach Me episode. I hope you lot enjoyed this, and we'll be on to the next episode. Take it easy, everyone. Peace. All right, sick, man. Thank you very much, bro.
Of course.
What do you think about, like, I wanted to ask you, yeah, because right now, yeah, I'm kind of, like, struggling with Leroy at the minute in terms of, like, just, I'd say just trying to be able to function with, like, a good, clear game plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I find that problem a lot against, like, high enough level players. Like, when I come against, like, Strog, it's like, I'm just kind of standing here, unable to do anything, because he's just fucking sidewalking or he's crouching, and I press down 1+2. He doesn't care. It's 21 damage. I do orbital. He doesn't care. He reacts to that every day. So
yeah,
it makes me just want to hard read FF22, but then I'm dead anyway because it's -15. So I just wish the power mids were power mids, because it always comes. I always come back to thinking about Wang, because obvious reasons. Old Wang main. He had such good power mids. I wish I had any of them.
Yeah.
Leroy doesn't even have like a fast wall splat. He has a 14 frame high one and then like 16 frame mids. There are characters that do like 14 frame mid and 12 frame high, and it's like.
What do you think about his power crush, the full 1+2 not all splat?
I mean, I still think it's weird, but I understand the logic, because it is a grounded hitting move. Not consistent. Bamco is never going to find out about that. They don't have Leroy specialists at the office. They have a lot of issues with that kind of stuff, where it's like, on the surface level, this works this way, so we're going to make these changes to the move, but it doesn't really. So forward 1+2, the logic, I assume, is it hits grounded. It would be too strong if it was splatted, but it doesn't consistently hit ground. It hits movement on the ground, and it hits certain big body characters on the ground. Small bodies, just you lay on the ground, it doesn't do anything. So I understand the logic and I can accept it, as long as I get to have the fastest mid armor in the game, because it is the fastest mid armor in the game. You need to use it sometimes.
How fast is it?
And 17 frames. It is tied with the other fastest one, which is Nina's forward 1+2.
Damn, but at least Nina's won that wall splat though, man.
True, but it is -14, and Leroy will kill her for it, which is nice.
Is Nina's,
Nobody kills Leroy.
Is Nina's 114? I heard it got changed to 13.
No, God, no. If it did, I would be throwing a fit on Twitter.
Wait, actually, nah. Because I was like, there's no way it could be 13, but I didn't try it out. But yeah, nah, it must be 14 still.
Yeah, no, I've lost this goddamn armor move in tournament. I would not let this stand.
And then
Like literally the armor move, not the character, the opponent. Literally the armor move existing. I just fucking ate it every time. I hate it.
that is crazy. So
I wish it was like tag too. Like it was -18 or something in that game.
So do you use 443 at all with Leroy?
No, it's useless. It doesn't. It's. Sometimes I throw it against bears because I think it's funny, but other than that.
What about like down forward 3+4? Because down forward 3+4 seemed a bit better. It seemed better in the beta for some reason.
I only have situational uses for that. Like if I see the opponent jabbing every time, obviously I'm gonna take advantage of that. But I also have all the string options, so like someone like Azazena forward 4/4, although that requires stupid reactions. And then there's King's 1+2 string. You can actually go under the mid with the down forward 3+4, and it punishes his back turn cancel unless he ducks, which I doubt King is gonna back turn cancel into duck off of 1+2. There's a bunch of these. This is a weird specialist move, whereas FF3 is like a version of that with less evasion, less reward, less startup. I don't understand the move's purpose anymore. It used to be a punish for Claudio's forward 2/2, but they reduced the pushback, so you can FF2 it in this game. So useless.
Oh man, right, I'm gonna try and play ranked for another hour, man. But yeah, no, Dustiel, bro, appreciate it, man. It was a good one, man.
Of course, anytime.
Sick, man. All right, well, I'll catch you up soon, man. And thanks again, man.